What's going on, flock? Welcome inside the vault for a Wednesday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. It is the 13th of November, and partner, we just had a jammed hour getting everybody ready for what's to come over the course of this hour-long stream. We are jammed. We've got everything you possibly could want. It is Ravens-Steelers week, and it, of course, is week 11 of this NFL regular season. Welcome inside the vault. I'm Bobby Trossett, as always, joined alongside Sarah Ellison. Today's live stream is brought to you by our friends at Homage, and you guys know the drill. This is number 4 now, Sarah, our 4th giveaway episode. And Homage, of course, is a NFL and wherever you could possibly want merchandise store, apparel company, retro kind of varsity style type of gear. And you can be eligible for a free Homage t-shirt like the ones that Sarah has worn in the past. Today she goes with the crew neck. Is that the crew neck you're rocking?
Sweatshirt today, yeah. Listen, the temperatures are dropping, so I had to bring out the sweatshirt instead of a t-shirt.
Heck yeah. You can be eligible
nice,
for
comfy one too. Woo!
For sure. And you can be eligible for an Homage t-shirt today by doing the following. As you see in the live chat is a pinned comment. You can subscribe to the vault, like this video, leave a super chat with the hashtag vault. If you don't do that, you will not be eligible. And explore Ravens gear by clicking on the link that we have included in our unique URL live chat pinned comment. You see it right there. That's all you have to do. It's our 4th time working with Homage. We have 4 more after this, and we look forward to randomly selecting a winner at the end of the show. So get those super chats going. Sarah, right before we started, and this is how it goes on Wednesdays, especially when you have MV3 playing at the rate that he is. But for the 3rd time this season, Lamar Jackson has been named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week, a completion percentage of 75.8, 290 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 33 rushing yards, and a passer rating of 141.4. And a win, of course, most importantly, on Thursday night against the Bengals. This kind of feels like a rinse, recycle, repeat process that we do on Wednesdays, Sarah, every other week. And here we are again. Lamar gets the AFC Offensive Player of the Week honors for Week 10.
I didn't see it. You pulled it up for me. I didn't see it. They always announce it on Wednesday mornings. It just makes me giggle. It just makes me giggle because it's week after week after week. I think between him and Derrick Henry, what do they have? 5 of the last 7 or so, something like that. I mean, they're dominating. Lamar Jackson is dominating. 141.4 passer rating, 4 touchdowns. Get out of here with that. Like, he's Ravens QB right there. Gotta love it.
And so it begins. Week 11 and Steelers week. Of course, they'll be reuniting with several former players. I think both teams will, in a certain sense. There's a bunch of different former Steelers that are suiting up as Ravens and vice versa. Of course, earlier this morning, the Punchline podcast, co-hosted by Marlon Humphrey and Jack Settleman, dropped an episode, Sarah, that I think is reflective of what this rivalry is about, and 2, what DeShon Elliott, the former Ravens safety, is about. You might remember him as a highly, highly physical, hard-hitting safety.
Yeah.
You might remember him as someone who wasn't available a whole lot throughout his tenure in Baltimore. But one thing you should never forget is this dude knows how to run his mouth, Sarah. He can talk you-know-what with the best of them, and he certainly did a whole lot of that in this episode on the Punchline, Sarah.
Yeah, Bobby Mustache. He keep a straight face. I was trying to deliver that line without laughing. Bobby Mustache, DeShon Elliott. See?
What's up?
He said he doesn't give an F, okay? And he meant it. He came in hard from the beginning all the way to the end, and maybe we'll start here. Maybe we'll start hear him talking about how he wasn't re-signed by the Ravens and Eric DeCosta.
Full-blown traitor. Let's just talk about the Ravens Steelers from the other side now.
I wouldn't say traitor because Eric DeCosta had a chance to sign me back, and he chose not to. He chose to sign number 32, which y'all have over there. So, yeah, I'm putting it out there. I don't give a honestly, God's is the same. I hope I'm here until I retire. I would love to play here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, you know,
wow.
Hey, you had your chance.
Now,
honestly, if if at the end of your career, if you ever decide to,
No, can't do that.
Yeah. Marlon was shutting that down. Bobby, first of all, I mean,
Lot to unpack there.
he literally called out Marcus Williams. Like, he's like, y'all decided to grab number 32. I don't give an F. And now I want to retire here. And then not only is he over the ops, but he wants to bring Marlon over, and he's not having that. Bobby, just a reminder, in 2022, at the end of, as we all called him, Joker, we can see why he calls him. It's not just his style, physical style on the field. It's a style off the field. He wants to bring the chaos. But in 2022, at the end of his rookie contract, he was not re-signed. Instead, he went on and signed with the Detroit Lions 1 year for a little over $1 million. Then he got with the Miami Dolphins, who later in the show he termed soft as F. He's like, oh, I can't say that about my former team. But he did. He signed with them for 1 year for $1 million. And then he got his 2-year deal, 2 years for $6 million with the Steelers. Okay. So heading back over to 2022, the Ravens decided to go with Marcus Williams, which surely at the time seemed like a phenomenal idea. Not looking so good now, but 5 years, $70 million. So over the last 3 years, DeShon Elliott's made 1.1, another 1.7, takes you to 2.8. And then if he plays out this deal, but I mean, we'll see, but it's another, let's see, he got, how much did he get at signing? So 1.5. So he's almost at 5 million over the last 3 years. Total for all the years, you're going to hit closer to like 11 compared to 5 years for 70 million for Marcus Williams. So he is talking trash, and thus far has plenty of reason to do so since he was not brought back to the organization.
One thing about DeShon, Sarah, he's going to tell you what's on his mind. And you heard the clip there. Marlon referred to him as a full-blown traitor. And he said, I wouldn't say traitor because Eric DeCosta had a chance to sign me back, and he chose not to. He chose to sign number 32, and then you heard the rest of that clip right there. Sarah, this is a guy who, as I just alluded to a minute ago, was not available over his 3 years in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
He just wasn't.
Similar to Williams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about 6 games his rookie year. Okay, 16 of 16 his sophomore season. Mm-hmm. But then he drops back down to 6 in 2021. The injury bug ate him alive early and often. And you hated it. It was tough to watch because he was such a high impact player with a motor and a certain physicality that embodied and embodies what the Ravens are about. But unfortunately, you're kind of left wondering, sort of like Jimmy Smith, even though those two had very different careers. What if, right, about his time in Baltimore? So anyway.
So this is the chat. I guarantee Marcus Williams is going to see it. For sure, EDC will. EDC can't do much about it in this moment, but Marcus Williams can. How is Marcus Williams going to respond? The man that you've already been through a lot, for sure. And he may not get as many snaps as he's had. I don't know. We will see. John Harbaugh said that lots of things are on the table. He's already been benched once. Who knows what's going to happen next? I have a feeling he's still going to play, even though it might be less. What are you going to do, Marcus Williams? The man that you replaced just called you out. It's time to respond. He didn't just call out Marcus Williams, though, Bobby. He called out the whole pass defense.
Defensively, I don't know what y'all got going on over there. That has nothing to do with me, but the stat sheet says that y'all are number 1 in run defense, but it says I think y'all are number 32nd in pass defense.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
Honestly, it's that's been that has been quite rough.
Are y'all getting some quarterback? Are y'all getting sacks?
He's trying to give him an excuse.
It's all right. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah. You said enough.
All right, that's pretty funny. That I mean, it's funny for all the wrong reasons when it comes to Ravens fandom.
Right.
But these two are buddies, remember.
They're
DeShon
buddies.
and Marlon are buddies. Okay.
But he also knows what he's doing.
So DeShon's like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, I'm not going to make you answer. And there is no answer. Marlon has no answer. He's doing everything he possibly can, Sarah, to help out this pass defense. He's doing all that he possibly can when it comes to creating turnovers. He's a top 5 interceptions leader right now in the league. But as we know, he doesn't have a whole lot of help around him. So while he's having a great bounce back year, his peers, not so much collectively.
One more. He switches over to the offense and gives a lot more respect, which makes sense. Like there's nothing that he's saying that isn't true, but it's not normal for it to come from your opponent. You hear it from the media. You know what I mean? You're supposed to hear that from the media, and then you're like, oh, the media are talking. But when it's players plus a former Raven plus now a Steeler plus you're about to meet up against him in a couple days, it carries a little bit more weight than if the media says it. One more thing where there's a little bit of trash talk, and then we'll move over to what he said about Lamar.
Angles, DeShon.
What was I doing Thursday? Probably not, but I saw that they should have lost. But my bad.
I didn't watch. He didn't see too much of the Ravens Bengals game, but I saw that the Ravens should have lost. That's what he said. All right.
Well,
should we flip? Well,
look, there's a lot to unpack with this episode. Let's be clear. DeShon gave Punchline boatloads of content. Sarah, this is only Wednesday, and there's this much smoke out there right now. If you don't think this rivalry is set to be renewed, if you feel like this has needed a little bit of an extra packed punch in recent years, which I would agree with, you're getting that. You're getting that and a whole lot more. It's Wednesday, and there's a lot of chatter right now, and I think there's going to be more as more media and as more interviews and content starts to sprinkle out there over the next few days.
Elliott wants the smoke, but who does not want the smoke, Bobby?
This is an interesting topic because it brings you back to March when Patrick Queen signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, and went to the rival. And, of course, Sarah, we had that whole conversation. Do you want to be the villain or not? He's embraced it. He embraced it initially. Then there were questions as to, did he really want to be the villain? And this clip here from DeShon kind of begs the question. PQ, do you want it or not this week?
After the game last night, we won. Yes, sir, we won. We're on the bus back to the airport. He's like, bruh, I'm not even going to be in the locker room this week. I said, why? He was like, you know why? I said, no, I don't. He goes, it's that week. It's Ravens week. I said, oh, yeah, they were asking a lot of questions. And technically he is a traitor because from last year to this year, I mean, hey, I'm going to be real. You can. Money talk, BS walk. So he decided to go somewhere who appreciated him more than Baltimore did. But, I've realized this, that a lot of times players that leave Baltimore, they go and they play better. They become great because Baltimore decides to let their talent walk. God.
There it is again.
But we'll see. We'll see how PQ handles this week. I'm sure PQ is going to give a lot of tips and whatnot to our offense, hopefully. I know he's preparing for this game. I know he can't wait to play in this game because I know he cannot wait to talk mess to the sideline when he makes a play. So this will be fun. This will be very fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun, all right. Do you get the sense that he's got a little bitter taste in his mouth there from?
Yeah, but all players do and should, and that's fine. Like you felt like you were good. You went out and paid somebody else, and he hasn't panned out, and you've gone on and played, better. It's so much so, Bobby, check this out. Pro Football Focus grades are not everything, but certainly a data point. They're based on their grades. DeShon Elliott this year is the 13th best graded safety. Look at Kyle Hamilton at number 5. We want to give a little shout out to Kyle Hamilton there. Okay. But DeShon Elliott, number 13, pretty good, right? Marcus Williams graded number 87 out of 87. Yes, he is. Yes, he's taking this moment to rub it in the Ravens' face. Now, let me tell you this, Bobby, this may or may not spark something a little bit more on the Ravens defense. If this doesn't spark it, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know they've been trying for 10 weeks. They've been trying for 10 weeks. And they've, been embarrassed by it. Marlon Humphrey's been open about that. If this doesn't wake you up If this doesn't make up Marcus Williams, what will?
Right.
Spark it to turn. I mean, I know he's already awake. I know he's trying, but I mean, like, take it to that next level and finally turn things around.
I don't have an answer for that. This is what you live for as a one of one, right? You're the 1%er here. You are one of one as an NFL player, and you got a lot of people speaking on your name right now, including the opponent. And while you won't directly see DeShon Elliott on the football field, you can certainly let your play do all the talking for you coming up on Sunday in Pittsburgh. So let's get to some super chats that are pouring in right now. We've got 9 so far. 9 that are eligible for our free Homage t-shirt giveaway that we're running today, courtesy of one of our newest sponsors. That's Homage. This is the 4th episode that we've done this. All you have to do in order to be eligible for that t-shirt, 1, subscribe to the Vault, like this video, leave a super chat with the hashtag Vault. It can literally just be the hashtag Vault. And 3, click on the link that we have included as a pinned comment in the live chat, which brings you to our unique URL at homage.com. What's everybody saying here? Storm Chaser Mason Harris says Russell Wilson's career record against the Ravens is 1-2. Good chance it's 1-3 after Sunday. Gerald Jackson says we can agree on the magnitude of the game now. Oh, I think we can agree to it. Ocean says, yes, sir?
I was just going to say, this is the 3rd one. All of you guys who have put in super chats, the first 3 that Bobby just read did not have hashtag Vault. That means that you cannot be entered into the giveaway. It's a super chat with the hashtag Vault. The software searches for hashtag Vault. If you are not a super chat, do not write hashtag Vault. But those that put in a super chat and forgot to put hashtag Vault, you can do a separate one that's not a super chat and go ahead and put hashtag Vault. If you put it in a hashtag Vault in a non-super chat, where you didn't put one in, then we're going to delete it. And if you do it a lot, we'll have to like block you or something. So those that forgot that actually did a super chat, go ahead and put it in so you could be entered into the giveaway.
All this information, all the instructions, just 3 simple steps are all in the live chat as a pinned comment.
Yep.
Ocean says PQ's PFF grade is one of the lowest. Sharu says I watched the episode with Elliott, meaning DeShon, and honestly didn't take offense to it. If you aren't signed by a team, you don't owe them anything. Stings more because we are having issues with Marcus Williams. Hashtag Vault. Not a fan says, has Marcus Williams been EDC's worst signing to date? Hashtag Vault. Robbie says he's bitter because he didn't get that Marcus money. Hashtag Vault. Romy Raven says, my mood always lifts when the Vault starts. Hashtag Vault. Great to have you here, Romy. Eileen entering in, hashtag Vault. Bosef says, hoping for another Mr. Jackson 5, hashtag Vault. Sherry Ramirez just fired up to be here. We're glad you're here as well, Sherry. Let's go. Captain Hard says, if Elliott's comments don't get the defense fired up, nothing will. Also, what are your all thoughts on doing a podcast with the opponent before a game? Hashtag Vault. We always have before the game, meaning on game day, we always have our Friday preview episodes, and coming up at 12:30 this Friday. I'm solo first and foremost, but I won't be for 15 to 20 minutes of that episode. The voice of the Steelers, play-by-play voice, Rob King, will be joining me. Joey entering in as a hashtag Vault. Asmodeus, a.k.a. Richard, says this will be a true midseason test for the offense. Hashtag Vault. No Way DJ says 3rd time's the charm. Steelers week, let's go. Hashtag Vault. Sithily Ramirez says, hope the Ravens play angry. King stiff arm PQ. Hashtag Vault. Channeling what Sarah wants earlier this week, as we all heard. AD says, defund the defense. Hashtag Vault. Sherry says, I forgot the first time around. Now you're entered in for sure. And Brian Me says, the Henry stiff arm to DeShon is incoming. Hashtag Vault. So glad you guys can be here.
DeShon and PQ. He's got to get a couple people.
Heck yeah. So great to have you guys with us. Please, if you're interested in getting involved in today's giveaway, all the instructions are a pinned comment, but we got more Steelers week content to get to, partner. Where to?
Okay, so DeShon Elliott was asked about Lamar Jackson. This is where, he told the truth. He couldn't talk smack about the offense, and I don't think he was about to. Here he is on Lamar Jackson.
He's back to being skinnier, which means he's faster. He's a lot more quick this year. He lost that weight that he tried to put on last year, but For that third MVP, I mean, behind Pat Mahomes, it has to be him. Technically, I mean, nobody else is really doing it but like them. Really, yeah. You can say Josh Allen here and there, but he's a turnover magnet. True.
Turnover
magnet. I'm gonna keep it a bean at all times.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, that is one thing about you being honest. You do that.
So.
All right, one more on the Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson comparisons.
I'm curious. I'm curious about playing Jaden Daniels and then playing Lamar, because I think with Lamar, he's got this crazy record against the NFC. Any similarities, or you're shaking your head?
Like Mike T said, you can't compare anyone to Lamar Jackson. I'm not hearing it. That's Mr. Jackson, like Mike T said. Don't do that. No, there's no similarities. Yes, Jaden Daniels would be a great quarterback in this league one day. He's shown a lot of promise since he's been in the league this year. But, bro, like, comparing the stuff that Lamar does on the field to anybody else is not possible. It's harder. It's a little bit harder to prepare for Lamar because he's so unpredictable. Jaden, you kind of but you have a good thought about his tendencies. Lamar's tendencies aren't really there. I mean, he just kind of everything he does is natural, just God given. Once that ball snaps, he's just like, if somebody comes at him, he just figure out a way to get out of it and still make a play. But, regardless, you got to prepare for Lamar as if, I don't know. You got to bring. I don't even know. I've never played against Lamar. I played against him last year, but like that game didn't count because we got blown out like 50-7.
Oh, it counted, Sarah. It certainly counted. Yeah.
Remember the days, Bobby, when people were like, "Oh, after the 2018 playoff game with Lamar as a rookie," and everybody's like, "Oh, the Chargers just gave us a blueprint on Lamar Jackson." And then it just seemed like every year there was like a new blueprint. And finally, DeShon Elliott is here. Is like, no, he's unpredictable. He can do everything. Jaden, for his money right now in week 11 of his rookie season, he felt like there were more tendencies, and Lamar's just unpredictable. So,
look, there's a lot of different layers to this. I'm still kind of hung up on the fact that DeShon almost single-handedly is trying to like reinvigorate this rivalry over the course of the next few days.
Right.
Like this dude is making like how refreshing is this? Assuming that the Ravens aren't going to follow suit in front of the media. I think that they're going to be relatively quiet this week. I think they're going to allow the rivalry to be renewed from a physicality standpoint on the field. I could be wrong. We'll see. They got some personalities in that locker room. But I would suspect that most of that's going to happen between the lines and after the whistles coming up on Sunday. But DeShon, boy, I kind of miss that energy. I love his energy. That guy calls a spade. And whether he's bitter or not, this is what you want. This is the energy you want.
Yeah.
Leading into this kind of weekend. I'm fired up. He's got me fired up.
Yeah. Oh, he's got me fired up for the game. He's got me fired up to want, Henry and Lamar to do their thing and, have to silence him a little bit. I kind of like him adding some fire if it's possible to the pass defense. It is interesting because you said it's single-handedly trying to like bring back the energy, and that's true. Like PQ doesn't want to be here. What's funny is if PQ has a good game, I know we'll hear him on the back end.
Oh,
he doesn't want to. He's not doing it on the front end, which is more what you're supposed to do as a player.
Right.
Not give bulletin board material to them. But yeah, I guarantee Marlon's already told everybody about it on that locker room. Go listen to what DeShon Elliott had to say, and hopefully it provides some juice because the defense needs it. The pass defense needs it. Everybody else has been doing it for 10 weeks, but the pass defense needs it.
No question. Let's tell everybody about Homage right now because super chats are flying in. We now have 32 contestants who are now eligible for our free Homage t-shirt giveaway that we're running today for a fourth straight Wednesday. And we just want to say thank you and shout out Homage for what they do and what they have going on right now at homage.com. You can click on the link that we have included as a pinned comment. It's also at the top of the show notes to go and explore the site. I mean, there's Ravens gear everywhere. You're rocking this crew neck right here, Sarah?
That's right.
Yeah, this is the one you're rocking. I know I have that one somewhere in the closet. You're seeing a 15% off discount right now, just a pop-up. But yeah, sweatshirts, T-shirts, and you'll notice it's got that retro feel. That's what I love. It's sort of your old school varsity type feel. T-shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts. You've got other joggers as well on here. And right now, site-wide, they're in the middle of a better than Black Friday sale. They're doing 15% off the purchase of 2 items or 25% off the purchase of 3+ items. It's not just NFL gear too, or Ravens gear. Like all professional sports leagues, you got merch on here. Their 2024 World Series Championship Pack launches today. That's for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Their Homage times starter Randy Moss GOAT jacket launches today. All sales are handed via a raffle to give consumers and fans like you an equal opportunity to purchase. You've got the NBA City Edition collection launching on Thursday. That's tomorrow, the 14th, and it features a new design for all 30 NBA teams, and it's tying to the NBA in-season tournament. And another Thursday Night Football flash sale will be running from 6 o'clock Eastern to midnight this upcoming Thursday. Again, that's tomorrow, the 14th. So, Sarah, it's not just Ravens gear. It's not just Baltimore sports type gear. It's all professional sports organizations, and you and I have just been obviously lucky to cash in on the Ravens side of things that they have rolling right now on the site.
Yeah, it's got everything from all sports, all teams, everywhere. Obviously, our audience would love the Raven stuff. So, yeah, we appreciate all the entries so far for the giveaways. It's a free T-shirt, and then those that don't win it, go ahead and check out all the Ravens gear or other sports that you're into.
And keep in mind, too, we'll give you one more update here, and we'll give a few more chances as well for Super Chats to fly in, and we've got a lot to read. But in order to be eligible for one of those Homage T-shirts that you just saw on the screen for free, you can subscribe to the Vault, like this video. If you've already done those things and you win, you'll just send screenshots that allow us to check that box for you. Leave a Super Chat. This is the important part. Leave a Super Chat with the hashtag Vault and click on the link that we have included as a pinned comment in the live chat, which takes you to our unique URL and allows you to explore Ravens gear at homage.com. Okay, with that, we've got a lot more to get to, which we haven't yet. Should we go back to Mike Tomlin, or I guess we haven't gone to specifically Mike Tomlin. We've heard him be referenced a couple of times, but Sarah, he talked a little bit about the Ravens' pass defense.
He sure did. He was asked about it being 32nd ranked, and he wasn't going to do what DeShon Elliott's doing, which was pile on. He did the opposite. He said, quote, when I turn on the tape.
And I got the clip right here if you'd like,
go
to
for
listen
it.
to himself.
Go ahead.
Here's Mike T.
Been written and said about their pass defense, but to be quite honest with you, when I turn the tape on, I don't see negligence. I see a group that's definitively up on people, and a lot of people are getting out of their personalities and are simply somewhat one-dimensional and throwing the ball 40 and 50 times against them. And I think that's probably the most significant reason why they're 32nd in the league versus the pass in terms of yards per game is the circumstantial component of it. I don't see guys out of place. They got really good players.
Just part of what he had to say there, Sarah, you heard it. When I turn the tape on, I don't see negligence. I see a group that's definitively up on people, and a lot of people are getting out of their personalities and are simply somewhat one-dimensional. Now, you and I in our pre-show meeting, at first you were like, well, what did he mean by that? And my understanding of it, and he went on to say it there, was you got teams that are solely throwing it through the air. Now, some of that could be strategy based on this defense, but it also could be what we've talked about in the past, playing from behind. And so he went on to say, look, that's probably the most significant reason why they're 32nd in the league. I think two things could be true here. Mike Tomlin could be onto something, and we all understand, too, that it hasn't been good enough on the back end.
Yeah, and also with him saying people are getting out of their personalities and becoming one-dimensional, it's a reason why they're doing that. You have teams that are like, shoot, you guys are number 1 against the rush defense. You're number 32 against the pass defense. So we're going to get out of our personality and we're just going to start slinging this thing because why not? You're not stopping us. So, I mean, he's trying to be nice there, but there's a reason behind it.
For sure. For sure. He wasn't only talking about the pass defense as well. Deontay Johnson is one of those crossover players, right? The Ravens just added him prior to the trade deadline. And so now, for the first time in his career, he'll face off as a Raven against the Steelers, just like vice versa Patrick Queen will do. And Mike Tomlin, a lot was made of these comments. I felt like it was blown out of proportion online. Sarah, I'd love to get your opinion in the live chats as well. But here's Mike Tomlin on facing his former wide receiver who began his career in Pittsburgh, Diontae Johnson.
On both sides, what will it be like for you to face Diontae, and what challenge does he present for you guys?
To be honest with you, I hadn't thought a lot about it. He's not on a lot of their video, and so, at this stage of the week, I don't know that I've weighed, what he might mean to the matchup. They got more significant pieces with larger roles that are occupying my attention at this part of the week.
And as far as Diontae on the transition?
Just like being back in that stadium where it all started, it's going to be different. I actually never been in a away locker room, so that's going to be different for me. But I'm ready to get back there just to see the good people that I made relationships with and stuff like that. But other than that, it's a big moment for me. So.
And that clip courtesy. Well, let me just make sure I give courtesy there to Fox 45 and Morgan Atzit. But you were saying?
I was just wondering if he was asked specifically about that quote.
No, he was not.
Because he doesn't seem bothered at all. Like he's not.
Not at all.
He's just completely businesslike, saying as little as possible. Gonna let, I'm sure, his play along with the rest of the Ravens, let their play speak for them. Meanwhile, Arthur Maulet, he knows what this game means. He says, "I'm not a Raven yet. I want to be a Raven," and we know what that all means here in Baltimore. You say you're not officially a Raven until you've beaten the Steelers, and Arthur Maulet, along with a few guys, haven't been able to do it yet because the Steelers have won the last 3 regular season matchups. I don't think they've had any postseason matchups in quite some time. Now, obviously, some of those matchups, the Ravens weren't trying to win because they already had things sealed for the postseason, their seeding sealed, but they understand the mission at hand. We want to officially become a Raven, and this game gives us the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and this is a guy who, man, you think about the physicality that he brings, and you think that it may not get the headlines that Patrick Queen will, and now Diontae Johnson is garnering just because of Tomlin's comments being blown out of proportion and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Arthur's one of those guys, Sarah, that kind of could be waiting in the shadows for his turn to make a big impact here in year 2 going up against his former squad. And Morgan Atzit also had a chance to catch up with him on one other thing as well. Of course, he spent 2021 and 2022 with the Steelers. And as she writes on X here, he's got a pretty good idea, Arthur does, in terms of what Lamar might see from the Steelers on Sunday. He did have a little bit of humor when talking about this, but he went on to say, quote, "When I was over there, he," meaning Lamar, "was a little fat man. He's lost weight and throws way better now," Arthur also added. And let me just do this in real time as well, because I think there needs to be a little bit of context added to that. Let me just pull this up in real time, courtesy of Morgan Atzit, Fox 45 reporter here in town. And this is that quote.
What they're trying to do with Lamar. They're going to put a person at the dive, and they're going to run a person straight at Lamar. And they're going to make him make a decision. So that's their game plan. One person goes to Lamar, one person goes to the dive for the RPO, and that's going to be their game plan to slow him down a little bit. From what I said, maybe they change a little bit. I ain't been there in a while, but
and Lamar's changed.
Exactly, he can throw way better now. And he lost a little weight. When I was over there, he was a little fat man. But now, he lost a little weight and he's running like his old self.
Well, what a personality he is.
I am so glad you pulled in that video because I've read the quote. The print quote of that does not give the actual in-person video justice at all.
Not
the
quite.
way he's saying "fat man" and DeShon Elliott did the same thing, but a little bit kinder because he's going to be on the other side of Lamar, saying he's skinnier rather than calling him a fat man.
Right. Not only reveals the past game plan that Pittsburgh had for Lamar, which isn't going to work anymore, you would think, and 2, gets after his QB1 in a playful manner. So Arthur is one of those, again, I think he's probably not talked about enough, just how much of a dynamic locker room personality he is, his understanding for AFC North football, his ability to be sort of that nickel for you, And obviously, with the arthroscopic knee procedure that he had at the end of the summer, he missed a good chunk at the beginning of the year. So I would imagine he's still kind of getting his legs underneath him here as they ease him back in. And they could really use an Arthur Maulet emergence for obvious reasons. Sarah, we've got over 40.
You talked about, you can get to the super chats here in a second. You talked about DeShon Elliott and how you missed that energy. Maulet's the type of guy that can bring that energy.
I agree.
He lays the boom. He talks, as you just saw there. But he's been injured, so he hasn't been able to do as much. And to your point, if he is able to get his feet totally under him and become 100%, he can play in that slot more, which could, we haven't talked too much about this, but our Darius Washington could maybe get some more snaps at safety where they're obviously struggling. So go ahead and get to your super chat. Sorry to interrupt.
Sure. Yeah, and for whatever it's worth, obviously, as we covered earlier in the week, Harbaugh, when asked about Brandon Stevens potentially transitioning back to safety, he denied that, or at least not now, was not open to that idea during his Monday press conference. We've got over 40 of you who are now eligible for our free Homage t-shirt giveaway today. Lady Laura Baltimore, adding herself into the mix here, says, let's go. Let the Ravens baptism begin. Hashtag
I
Vault.
like that.
Holly Keefe says, hashtag Vault. Keep crushing it, Bobby and Sarah. She never misses an episode. We appreciate you, Holly. Pinky says, Tomlin is playing mind games. Don't take what he says as being what he believes. Waverly says, fingers crossed. Let's hope the receivers bring their hands to Pittsburgh. Last time, like 5 drops occurred. Hashtag Vault. And Sarah, we discussed that when you brought up that AI statistic on Google from last year's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Well, that ended up becoming a loss for the Ravens, right? That one that you brought up, the 5 drops.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Moneybag says Zay Flowers, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns loading. Lamar will carve them turkeys up. Hashtag Vault. Tom says, thanks, Sarah and Bobby, for the great show. Roquan needs to be a difference maker this week. Hashtag Vault. Hashtag Ravens fan from Wisconsin. Eileen says, we need Roe on the vault. Hashtag Vault. Asmodeus says, if I do more than one, do I get more draws? Hashtag Vault.
Yes.
I mean, it certainly can't hurt.
Yes, it does. It does. The software picks up all the super chats with hashtag Vault.
All right, there you have it. Ravens 54th man says Marlin versus Pickens. Boxing gloves, baby. Hashtag Vault. Let's see. Captain Hard.
Stevens. They keep putting Stevens on their number one, on the opponent's number ones.
And Pickens has been having himself a season, especially since Russ got under center for him.
Like
Captain Hard says
Stevens. Go ahead.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But based on what he's been put on tape this year.
Yeah.
Captain Hard says Marlowe might be a genius. I think he purposely did an interview with DeShon before the game because he knew he would go on a rant. That's an interesting twist. Minx the Cutie says, Minx the Cutie. What's up, Minx? Hey, Bobby and Sarah. Just want to piggyback to the 9.5.
Like, who's the guy on Friends? Joey, how you doing?
I'm thinking to myself, who's this? Who's this, Minx? Hey, Bobby and Sarah. Just want to piggyback on the 9,500 Ravenettes who watch on the regular. I've won 4 fantasy leagues. Hashtag one Ravenette. Hashtag Vault.
So for those that don't know, I showed some stats yesterday or the day before. 90.5% of our audience is male and 9.5% is female. So yes, a shout out to you, Minx the Cutie. Thank you for being a regular on the show.
Heck yeah. Thor says Tomlin has Harbaugh in his back pocket. Hashtag Vault.
Oof.
Moneybag says nothing scares you about the Steelers at all. Does Lamar and Derrick scare you? Hell yeah. Jang says Ravens must sweep the Steelers this season. Yeah, there's a lot of scary. There's
on defense.
There's some yeah. Ravens must sweep the Steelers this season. Hashtag Vault. BG Method says, hey, Pittsburgh, it's his fault. What LJ does to you is Elliott's fault. Hashtag Vault.
He told Lamar words when he was talking about the Cincinnati grandma. It's going to be her fault. It's going to be her fault.
I think so.
Yeah.
I like that play on words there. Okay. Yeah. I hadn't gotten that the first time around. E-Man Watt says, I'm just here so I don't get fined. LOL. Hashtag Vault. Channeling the great Marshawn Lynch. Jemmy93 says, how about a Lamar stiff arm on Watt?
Oh, we've had that before. I could relive that.
This one went over my head. Captain Hard says, I meant Marlowe doing a podcast with a Steeler player before the game. So they wanted us earlier on when they were asking about the opponent podcast. I interpreted that as a somebody who covers the opponent.
Yeah.
A player would be a little bit trickier, but certainly open to that idea. Storm Chaser Mason Harris says, letting PQ go to a rival was a mistake, but it doesn't take a long memory to remember his adverse locker room presence. #Vault. Pinky says Ravens Steelers games are always toss-ups. #Vault. Bert says, I better not see Pickens burn us Sunday. Let's go flock. #Vault. Solo Dolo says, I'm here for the shirt. #Vault. Takashi Walker says, can't wait to have PQ crying after they lose. #Vault. Marcus says, seems like we get it wrong at safety via free agency versus we do so much better drafting, but let them walk.
Eric Weddle was
#Vault.
good, but yeah. Yeah, there's some.
And I would say we're fully caught up to speed. We've got over 50 and we've got more to content to get to. And so we're going to take a pause on the super chats, but keep them coming because we're announcing our winner here in the next 10 minutes or so.
So Mike Tomlin, when he was asked about Lamar Jackson, remember speaking from Maulet, he said, well, that was the game plan when we were there. Like have somebody come right at him, have somebody else dive position, RPOs, where he does an RPOs and make him make a choice. He's like, well, but I haven't been there for a couple years. And so could it change? Maybe, because Mike Tomlin is seeing what all of us have been talking about, what we've all been seeing is the evolution of Lamar Jackson. He's not been the same player that he's been under Greg Roman and even in the first year under Todd Monken. He seems to he's just understanding. It's the Matrix, Bobby. He's Neo. He sees the Matrix before the snap happens and after the snap, and he's able to put his team in advantageous positions. So Mike Tomlin sees it. You know who else sees it? One Aaron Rodgers, as he said on the Pat McAfee show.
So impressive for a guy like Lamar or anybody to win multiple MVPs because you've had years to game plan this guy and try and figure out, okay, you know, there was a time where everybody was zero blitzing Lamar. You know, let's zero blitz Lamar like crazy. Well, we got through that stretch. There's stretches of your career where you got to get through whatever the label is on how to stop, you know, you and the way you play. And first you got to establish what the label is because you got to go out and ball out and then them try and figure out how to stop you. But he doesn't stop after one good year. I made the Pro Bowl my first year. Well, okay, well then do it again the next year. You know, like it's going to be harder. Now you have 6 games against division opponents that spend a lot of their off season scouting those 3 games, trying to figure out how to stop you. So the second year is really hard. Then you kind of get over a lump at some point where now there's enough film out there that, you know, you've seen a lot more, but you're always working on your game and always working on your preparation and always working on the little things. And I think any older quarterback, whether still playing or retired, you know, I think that's part of the fun part of the legacy is to help the next generations.
And Sarah, he goes on and on and on there. But you heard the quote off the top from a future Hall of Famer. I get it. He's not having a Hall of Fame season by any stretch of the imagination in New York. And the season is all but over, except from, you know, a mathematical standpoint. But at the top, you know, Aaron says that's why it's so impressive for a guy like Lamar to win multiple MVPs because you've had years to game plan this guy. There was a time where everybody was zero blitzing Lamar. We all remember one specific game that sticks out a few years ago, that Thursday night clunker in Miami when Brian Flores and the Dolphins sold out. They were like, you know what? We're going cover 0 till the cows come home. Will the Ravens have an answer for it? The answer was no that night. They certainly do now. A-Rod saluting what he's seen from Lamar.
And how can you not? Lamar's leading the team to 318 points so far this season. That is number 1 in the league, Bobby. That is 28 points above the second team, which is the Commanders at 290. What I love about this, later in that interview, Aaron Rodgers said that he knew he was a part of the, you know, veteran quarterback fraternity. He knew that he was a part of the kind of the greats when the veterans welcomed him in, when they put their arms around him. He talked about Steve Young reaching out to him a lot and giving him advice. Steve Young's been trying to do the same thing with Lamar Jackson. He's asked me to put him in contact with them. He talked about Brett Favre doing the same thing. And that just reminds me of when Tom Brady came over to Lamar Jackson in 2019 and said, hey, Lamar, keep it up. You're doing great. And then Aaron Rodgers came up to Lamar, remember, pregame, and he's like, hey, get down, you know, that kind of a thing. And you've just seen Hall of Fame great after Hall of Fame great embrace Lamar because they know they are embracing him as another future Hall of Fame great.
Yeah. And when these veterans routinely do it, who have been around for double-digit seasons and have seen it all, I think that resonates as well. And Kyle Van Noy has been doing his podcast on a weekly basis with Gerald McCoy on Yahoo Sports. And it feels like, Sarah, weekly, he uses this platform in part to build up Lamar Jackson from what he's seen from the vantage point of being his teammate.
But I do need to talk about Lamar Jackson one more time, just because of all the people in the past that didn't give him love. You know, he wasn't quarterbacky enough. I'm going to be somebody that rides with how great he's been. Just flawless in the way he's progressed. I go back to a video that I saw of, you know, who is kind of the brains behind all this was, you know, his mom. And just kudos to her seeing the vision and Lamar seeing the vision to where it is now. And he's literally changed the game forever. Like now teams won't even look at you if you can't move, which is crazy, right? And it's just so awesome for him to get his flowers. I hope he keeps getting his flowers. I know a lot of the media is starting to finally come around. Obviously, people are going to be like, "Oh, show me in the postseason." And you know, he's still only in his 7th year, and he still has a lot of time in this league. In my opinion, he's going to play for a long time, as long as he wants to. But just his progression, just his game-changing ability every time he touches the football. He is must-watch TV, but just the intelligence he's shown in his progression on the field, off the field, at the quarterback position. I just love being his teammate. He's one of the dudes, bro. You know, sometimes quarterbacks, they can be a little, you know, not standoffish, right? It's just different, right? They're in a different kind of preparation. They're just different, you know, but he's hanging out with us, cracking jokes. Like I love that about LJ, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate someone being a veteran as an older player, seeing him and how he relishes with his guys and his core guys that he goes to work with each and every day, and the closeness that he has with them. I just love seeing that as a guy saying that's my quarterback, man. I love that.
Can't get enough of Lamar, can he, Sarah?
I just imagine as a defensive player to like know that you've got a quarterback on the other side that has your back in case you ever slip up has got to feel pretty good.
I mean, this is a weekly occurrence, just flawless in the way he's progressed. He says he's literally changed the game forever. I hope he keeps getting his flowers. Just the intelligence he's shown in his progression on the field, off the field at the quarterback position. I just love being his teammate. 33-year-old Kyle Van Noy continues to sip from the fountain of youth. I know it's been a quiet month or so after bursting onto the scene this year, and of course coming off of last year. When it comes to sack production, he's been quiet. But let's not forget that pass rush unit was coming at Burrow early and often on Thursday night and finished with 40 overall pressures. So hopefully a step in the right direction for that group, Sarah.
Oh, Bobby, on the offensive side, the Ravens are still hoping to get a bit of a kick from Keaton Mitchell, who returned for his first game back from injury last week against the Bengals. He was more featured in special teams as a returner than he was as a running back, but he continues to get his legs under him. Cordell Woodland from 105.7 The Fan asked Keaton if he felt that his speed has returned. And Keaton said that he was clocked hitting his fastest speed post-injury. So very encouraging to hear that somehow Keaton got faster, said Cordell. Then Jonas Schaefer talked to Keaton also, and Keaton said, once we get going, us three, it's going to be a dangerous backfield. Well, we already know. We already know these things. But speaking of that backfield, real quick here, Bobby, and then we'll get to some more super chats.
And should we do our final call before you set this video up?
Sure, do the final call.
Okay, so just to not to interject, but I wanted to make sure that everybody gets their opportunity to once and for all submit a super chat so that you can be eligible for today's free Homage t-shirt giveaway. As you see in the live chat as a pinned comment, 1, subscribe to the Vault, like this video, leave a super chat with the hashtag Vault, and click on the link that we have included. It's our unique URL that brings you to homage.com. You do those things, as you see outlined in the pinned comment, you will be eligible. This is the last call. There's over 50 of you that have submitted Super Chats, over 60 to be exact, and we're about to do our randomized giveaway after Sarah sets this up.
Yeah, and then one more thing before I do, just talking about injuries. There wasn't an official injury report yesterday, but because they had a Thursday night game, they did do a practice on Tuesday, not normal, but they had extra time. At that practice, according to Gianna Hahn of Baltimore Banner, 3 Ravens were missing: Kyle Hamilton, Isaiah Likely, and wide receiver Devontae Walker. So we're all on that Kyle Hamilton watch, and this is now the second week of Isaiah Likely with that hamstring. Still not practicing. We'll see what we get later today when they practice. But good news is that defensive end Brent Urban did return from that concussion, and he was wearing one of those big white Guardian caps. But back to what I was saying about the backfield. We already know that Derrick Henry is killing it. You take a rushing category in the NFL, and it's Derrick Henry that's leading it, whether it's rush yards, scrimmage yards, rush TDs, total TDs, rush attempts, rushing yards per carry, first downs, rushes of 20-plus yards, all of those, he ranks number 1. And so Saquon Barkley, who's also having himself a pretty good year as a running back who is on a new team, he was on the pivot recently, and they asked him about Derrick Henry.
You been watching Derrick Henry, bro?
You heard him?
So
we're watching Derrick.
I texted him last night because I told him on the show. I was like, "Hey man, 10 for 10." You know what I'm saying? I was like, in the hole, me and you by ourselves, I feel like I tackle you 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, you're crazy.
I texted him last night and I said 5 out of 10.
Oh, Lord.
50% ain't bad.
I said 5 out of 10.
That's not bad.
He need to slow down.
Bro.
He needs to slow down. He needs to slow down.
Like when you watch Derrick Henry at this stage of his career do that, bro, what's from another elite running back, how do you see that sort of performance?
As a competitor, I hate it because I'm like, we all want that rushing title. And he already got some. You know what I mean? I came second or third a couple times. He already got some, so he could slow down. It's funny you said that. I actually messaged him today on IG, like, keep balling. And he got back to me saying, same to you. But I love it because, man, fuck analytics, bro. I'm so tired of that shit. Like,
oh my.
And that was something that was kind of in the past where it's like, but the analytics show this, and don't put numbers on me. Don't put numbers on Derrick Henry. Don't put numbers on this player. I want to be one of the best players to ever play, one of the best running backs to play. Like, Barry was in his 30s rocking out. Or he left early 30s. AP was in his 30s rocking out. Emmett was in his 30s rocking out. You was in your 30s.
I was rocking out.
Rocking out. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, so I love that he's a 30-year-old running back and he's balling. And like, I don't get into, I don't pocket watch. Like, everybody get your money, get your paper, but there are a lot of people right now that are getting paid a lot more than Derrick Henry. And what are we really talking about?
Tila said she's telling on me for letting the curse words slip. Other people saying like, oh, you guys act like it's going to kill people. It only kills me and my kids that are listening. Everybody else is usually pretty good with it. So my bad. I was worried about the screen grabs and didn't get the beep in there. So, and I know that's more for me than anybody else, but I just love it, Bobby. He's like, I love and hate that he's balling out. I hate it because it's like, yo, can I get a rushing season record here? And look at the numbers. I got it up on the screen. Henry's got 1,120 rushing yards. Barkley's 991. And Barkley's like, he's almost hitting 1,000 going into week 11. He's going to go over 1,000 after week 11. It's a sensational season, but it's not as sensational as the king. He's the king for the reason. So Barkley's like, can I get one? Can I get a season rushing award here? And Derrick Henry's just giving a stiff arm to that. And then Barkley can't even get in the rushing TDs. Henry's leading that with 12, and it hurts because he gets all the ones at the goal line. That's second in the league with rushing touchdowns. But I do appreciate that he appreciates that he's balling out in his 30s and calls out, although this is good for the Ravens, not so much for Derrick, that he's not making as much money as some other cats, yet he's leading everybody, still the king of the mountain.
Sarah, he may not end up getting the rushing title this year, but you know what? I'm pretty comfortable to award him through 10 weeks.
What?
Play of the year.
Play of the year? Oh, yeah.
The hurdle was one of the most ridiculous things, the most ridiculous freak display of athleticism that you will ever see on a football field. I'm pretty comfortable to give Saquon Barkley the play of the year just solely based on athleticism. Garrett Wilson may actually have the player of the year because...
Well, and I'd put Lamar's throw to likely when he's in the air being hit out of bounds. Like, that's got to be in the top 3. I mean, there's a lot
of candidates, but if you're going solely based on athleticism...
That was crazy.
That was absurd. Are we ready to do our giveaway?
Yeah, do you want to finish them and then we'll
and how about can we talk in real time here too? Because I know you have a tight afternoon.
I do have a tight afternoon.
Let's do the randomized giveaway. This is my thought. You let me know if it's yes or no.
Okay.
We'll do the randomized giveaway for today's Homage t-shirt.
Yeah.
I will read every single super chat afterwards so that you can bounce, and I will finish quick hits. Does that work?
Yeah. That works. That works. What day is today? Wednesday? Yeah. Okay. Yep. I was going to explain why I'm missing on Friday, but I'll do that tomorrow. But I have a media interview at 1:10 for something I got going on here in Columbus, and I'll explain that more tomorrow. That's why I got to go. My interview starts at 1:10 via Zoom. Okay, here we go. Wait, let me.
And while you cue that up, just so everybody is aware, this is our 4th episode. We've mentioned it a couple times. We'll say it once more, where we are doing a free Homage t-shirt giveaway, courtesy of our new partnership with Homage, our new merch apparel partner. And all you had to do to enter this, so for next Wednesday, just keep this in mind, subscribe to the Vault, like this video, leave a super chat with the hashtag Vault, and click on our unique URL, which you see in the live chat as a pinned comment. So that's what you had to do. We have over 60 of you who are about to enter this in, and Sarah's randomized giveaway.
45 exact entries with the hashtag Vault. Super chat, here we go. Clicking the button. Let's see who wins.
For those of you who, for whoever does win, you'll email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com to claim your prize. And today it goes to Not a Fan. Let me go and toggle over to see what was the winner. I want to say that Not a Fan threw a couple in there.
I got one here. Nope, wrong one. That was the wrong one. It looked like it.
All good. I got one right here.
Okay.
And this is going to be a hilarious one. Not a Fan says Madison ain't gonna like that. Hello to Minx, the cutie. Hashtag Vault. You are hilarious. Minx the cutie. I was saying hello to her earlier on. That was it. That was it. You know, it was just a hello. What you trying to?
It was the way you said it, Bobby. Go back and listen.
Not a Fan's trying.
You first read it like normal. You're like, okay, Minx the cutie, and you're like, wait a minute, Minx the cutie.
Here's the funny part. First of all, I knew exactly what I was doing.
Okay.
Second of all, Not a Fan
brings out that voice.
That's right, my inner dog. Not a Fan comes in with a second comment, and if you need to go, Sarah, go right ahead. Not a Fan says, has Marcus Williams been EDC's worst signing to date? I think there's a conversation to be had about that. You are up against the clock, Sarah.
Yeah,
Not a Fan needs to email us at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com with screenshots of a subscription to the Vault, liking the video. Mix is still in the live chat. Mix, how you doing? Good to see you.
She's dying laughing over here. I love it.
As am I. So not a Fan
I gotta
needs
do this
to.
one too. Bobby
This
falls
is
easily. I
hysterical.
see. Mans was stuck. Okay, I gotta go. You tell them the rules. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Noon, lunchtime. Can't wait to chat again. Thank you, Bobby.
Unreal, partner. Have
see
an
you, Bobby
awesome
Mustache.
Hey, good luck today too, will you? Good luck.
Appreciate you. All right, we'll see you.
Sounds good. Sarah is out. Not a Fan is in as the winner. Again, Not a Fan. Hit us up via email at BaltimoreRavensVault@gmail.com. I don't even want to look at the live chat right now. Okay, you guys are trying to get me in trouble. That's what's going on here. I knew exactly what I was doing. Oh, my Lord. Quick hits. Quarterbacks that have been hit the least entering week 11 with a minimum of 200 dropbacks. Look at where Lamar is, tied for second. 29 hits taken. Jordan Love as well. Kyler Murray leads it with 26 hits taken. A nod to Todd Monken and certainly a salute to the Ravens offensive line and pass pro. What about quarterbacks that have been hit the most? Well, Daniel Jones and C.J. Stroud lead that list with 71 hits taken, and that is on the other side of the coin. It is good to be Lamar Jackson. It is good to be this Ravens offensive line, and after a lot of noise, a lot of concern, they've answered the call. Good on you. Not much of a surprise here, but just because we've been following along with Baltimore's former Super Bowl MVP, Indianapolis Colts head coach Shane Steichen announced that the team is going back to Anthony Richardson after all, and for the rest of the season, benching Joe Flacco. We all remember how this came to be. Some of it was underperformance, but I'm sure a huge part of it was AR talking about how he subbed himself out because he was tired. So, look, as much as we love Joe, most of us do. I know I do. Big picture here is Joe's not going to be the franchise guy this time next year maybe, and certainly not 5 years down the line. They're hoping that Anthony Richardson and the investment that they've made into him will become that. It's been a tumultuous first couple of years for him, but the Colts are still bought in and going back to their second-year player out of Florida. We've got a boatload of Super Chat donations to get through. First of all, I want to shout out Jack Steele. Jack commented in not via a Super Chat, but earlier, and said, I listened to the show while I'm driving my tractor trailer up the road, and I just thought that was awesome. I love, like, a little bit of everything that we have in our audience. 39K66 says hashtag vault. Malston23 says, oh my God, I forgot hashtag vault. Don't worry, you'll be having 4 more opportunities at least, and maybe we'll re-up with Homage if they enjoy what we're doing. You never know. But the next 4 Wednesdays, we will have giveaways. So just know that, Malston. And Malston says, Sarah is almost always right. Love the show. Habitual Line Stepper says, Lamar is going to win us multiple Super Bowls, but a knock on Lamar has been his defense carrying him, not this year. Hashtag vault. Paul says, secondary has to show up on Sunday. Let's hope Marcus Williams and those guys are motivated. Hashtag vault. AD says Lamar gets play of the year. Hashtag vault. AD also says this game is a must win for our confidence. Hashtag vault. Omni King says, I need to see Lamar have a turnover-free game against the Steelers. This is the team that is most similar to the Chiefs. Winning versus them needs to happen. E-Man Watt says, hashtag vault. Oh, Jason's trying to get me in trouble here. We really need to win this one because the Steelers beat us like 4 or 5. Also, Bobby, you can call me. I'm not doing this. I got in trouble last time I did this, Jason, which is why I call you Jason instead of your screen name. Hashtag vault. Hashtag I ain't getting canceled. AD says spam, defund the defense until EDC listens. Hashtag vault. Asmodeus says can't wait to troll my best friend's girlfriend who's a Steelers fan. Hashtag vault. Sam says Tomlin staying on Lamar's good side. Hashtag vault. AD says bring Nitro the Wonderkind on the show. Hashtag vault. I've heard a lot of good things. Never actually met him or watched his content before, but heard a lot of good things about Nitro. Daniel Rodriguez says hashtag vault. Wide receivers need to help Lamar out on Sunday. They did not last year. AD says Lamar has become undeniable. Hashtag vault. Asmodeus, the first prediction is out there. Let's beat the Steelers 42-14. Hashtag vault. AD is just tossing in super chats today. He says, or they say, defund the defense. Allocate money to the offense. Hashtag vault. AD also says Lamar's throwing for 250 and 4 tutties. Hashtag vault. Not a fan. One of the winners today. The winner today says Madison ain't going to like that. Hello to Minx, the cutie. Hashtag vault. I've already had that up there. 7 Scott says, let's walk in there. Let's walk in their trap. Take over their trap. Hashtag vault. Jang says a Lamar stiff arm on JJ. TJ Watt must happen too. Hashtag vault. Sitlily, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sitlily Ramirez says maybe a defense players only meeting. Hashtag vault. Kyle says love the content. Ardarius is hilarious. I live in Columbus/New Albany. Sarah and Bobby, when are we getting a Ravens party in Columbus going? Hashtag vault. Well, first of all, I would love to do something in Columbus, being that Sarah and her family live there, and I would love to visit them. I've only met her in person twice, and I've only met her son in person once. She's got 3 other kids and a husband. So I would love to get out there. Kyle, let's make it happen. Tiffany says, whatever it takes, just beat the Steelers. #Vault. Bragging Rights Sports drops in a $20 super chat and writes, Ravens versus Steelers this year is going to be what Yankees versus Red Sox was in 03 and 04, which is when the two teams go from massively respecting one another to massively hating each other with epic battles all year long. #Vault. Laura says, Bobby, loved your sweater you wore yesterday. I think earth tone colors would look great on you, better than gray. Advice for you with your new romance. #Vault. Laura, thank you for appreciate the input there on the wardrobe. And we are fully caught up on Super Chats. Terry the Boss says the defense has never carried Lamar, and that is our final Super Chat of the afternoon. You guys are hysterical. I haven't even looked at what's happening in the live chat right now. I can only imagine. But when you don't have a co-host, you can't do 2 things at once: host the show and also read the live chat. Our newest patron, Liza Crail, just signed up to be part of the Vault Patreon community yesterday. It goes without saying, it's the bedrock of our community. We would love for you to consider doing so. And Liza, welcome. You are now part of the Vault Patreon community, and this is your first, and this is your ongoing monthly shout out because of the support that you give us through the Patreon community. So patreon.com/RavensVault podcast is where you can learn more and how you can get involved today. Thank you to Homage for continuing to support us, for continuing to sponsor these episodes on Wednesday. And just know that if you weren't part of the giveaway today, you can be the next 4 Wednesdays where we give you a free Homage t-shirt, or at least give you an opportunity to be eligible for a giveaway. Not a fan, you know the drill. Hit us up, BaltimoreRavensVault @gmail.com with the instructions and the check boxes that you need in order to get that t-shirt. And Kevin from Homage will take care of the rest. As far as the rest of the week, Thursday is business as usual. We'll have, of course, media to comb through later today when the Ravens have their press conferences. Coordinators will be Thursday. And then on Friday, Rob King, the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, will join me live for our official Pittsburgh-Baltimore preview for his Steelers perspective. So with that, we appreciate you guys, all 3,700 plus of you who are joining us concurrently right now. The free things that you can always do to help out the channel. 1, subscribe. We're almost 20,000 subscriptions deep, 2.5 years in to building this channel. It goes without saying, certainly means a lot that you guys enjoy us enough to spend your lunch hours, your mornings, wherever you are, your evenings over there in Europe with us here inside the Vault. Like the video if you enjoyed today's show. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when we're dropping our daily Ravens live content. For Sarah Ellison and all of you, and all 70 of you who joined via the Super Chat donation, the contestant, the giveaway for Homage. Thanks to all of you who participated. We hope you'll be back on Wednesday. And for Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Wednesday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. The stash is staying. The rivalry is set to be renewed coming up on Sunday. And Minx, hit me up on IG after the show is over. I'm kidding. Enjoy it. Have a little bit of fun with it. And guys, as always, we appreciate you for spending some time with us here inside the Vault. I'll catch up with you soon.